gold reserve in dollars that are easier to carry. It belongs to God. And when you believe God, you will be blessed.
Hallelujah.
Now I'm not talking about sitting down and being idle. I'm talking about using your faith and trusting God. That whatever level of salary you're at, He said how great is that goodness that He have laid up for those that trust Him. That what God has for you, you will get what God has for you. The New King James Version informs us that the Lord continued to say to Habakkuk, He says at the end, when the test is over, at the end, the vigil will speak.
Hallelujah.
And it will not lie. So an end is coming. An end to what you are going through is coming. It is promised by God. God says at the end. He didn't say in the middle or the beginning. So it means that there's something that you must pass through, that you must encounter, and you must allow the Lord to have His way with you. Because the more you surrender to God and the more you become pliable in the hands of God, that He can do with you what He wants to do with you, the quicker you will get to the end. Did you hear me? Because some people resist. They become stubborn. And they speak foolishly. I tell God, no, not me. I tell God, I'm not doing that. Well, you are not doing God anything. You are doing it to yourself. When something is pliable, you can take it and you can make it into this, and then crush it together and make it into that. So when you allow yourself to be pliable and allow the Lord to have His way with you, He says at the end, the vigil will speak. It will not lie. The Hebrew word lie means to literally lie, to be found a liar, to make a liar, to deceive or to fail. So God is saying, listen, me and my word are one. And at the end, everything I said is going to come to pass. There's not going to be no lie, no deception, and no trick. Exactly what I promised you it should be. But I love what the original Hebrew says. The original Hebrew makes known that the Lord said to Habakkuk, at the end, I will speak and not lie. At the end of your storm, at the end of the slander you've gone through, at the end of the bodily affliction, at the end of the financial hardships, at the end of the struggle, at the end of the frictions in relationships, at the end of COVID, at the end of the attack of the church of Jesus Christ, God says, I will speak and not lie. I will speak. And when God speaks, things happen. We see it in the beginning of Genesis where God says, light be. And look, we have light. And He separated the darkness from the light. And He called the darkness night and the light day. All you are waiting for now is for that word from God. Where God arises and He speaks and He calls those things that are not as though they were. That's all you're waiting for as you stand in faith. At the end, God will speak. I'm so glad He didn't say Michael will do it for me or Gabriel will do it for me. God says, I'm going to speak at the end of your hurt, at the end of your pain, at the end of your disappointment. You know, sometimes in this Christian journey, you really can't figure out what God is doing. You know, the Bible tells us that the foolishness of God is wiser than the wisdom of men. But there are times it looks like God is doing foolishness. But when it is all over, we see the wisdom of God. God says at the end, I am going to speak. The Hebrew is also a literary saying that God's promises pass for the end. His word will not fail to manifest. At the end, God will speak. He believe, honor his word. So in the Hebrew, it is telling us that the promise that God has made to you, it is panting. Have you ever seen a runner? Jamaicans love to refer to Usain Bolt, so let me use it. You know, so Usain Bolt is on the Olympic track and he's running, and you can almost see the breath coming out of his nostrils and out of his mouth. You can see everything. When they play it in slow motion, you can see the muscles pounding the track as he's moving. He's panting to get to the finish line and to get there first. And so in the Hebrew, God is saying the promise is panting to get to you. It is running. It is coming at the speed beyond light to get to you. Hallelujah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Now I want you to keep that picture. That the promise is running, it is panting. It's panting coming to you.
Yes.
But yes, it hasn't come yet. But it is running at top speed. The reason why it is running and panting to come to you, it is because it has to arrive on time.
Yes, on time.
I want you to get it in your spirit.
Yes.
You've been going through for 15 years, and this word of God that does not lie says, what I promise you is coming, man, faster than Usain Bolt. It is running and coming after you. For 15 years have gone, and it is still running, and it is running at the speed of light to get to you. And the reason why it is running that fast, it can't come a moment later. It must arrive on time. It has been commissioned by God. It has already been authorized and approved and released by heaven for you. But it has a set time to come, and it is panting. It desires to come. It wants to arrive, but it can't come before the time. Your blessings has been divinely approved. The requisition has been approved. Like Daniel, on the first day you prayed, God answered. And God released it. It's approved. And it's running, coming. But if you would let God have his way, if you would stop murmuring and complaining, if you would stop resisting God, and you know, some of us, we like to say, I shouldn't be going through this. Lord, why me? Yes, you. It is necessary. And the more you allow God to have his way with you, the sooner you will get what God has for you. And so God is letting us know today, listen, I'm not fooling you. I haven't made an idle promise. I know how long you've been waiting, but it is necessary for you to wait that long, because in addition to blessing you, I want to work in you. I want to transform your life. I want to increase your faith. I want you. Sometimes some of our trials are like fire. Those fiery trials, Peter said, think it not strange when you go through fiery trials, because your faith, which is more precious than gold, God is refining and God is purifying. And so God puts us through fiery trials, because without faith it's impossible to please God. For by faith the elders receive a good report. It's all by faith. All the gifts operate by faith. You prophesy by faith. You preach by faith. You teach by faith. You lay hands on the sick and see them recover by faith.
Hallelujah.
Thank you, Lord.
That's why when you are sick in the hospital, seriously sick in the ICU, and you have tubes all over you like you're a computer, it's not good to let everybody come. Only those that have gone through fiery trials, that see beyond what they're saying and see God.
Hallelujah.
When the newer Israelites got to the Jordan River, it was at the time when the Jordan overflowed, and the waters of the Jordan were swollen. So So you couldn't cross Jordan at that time of the year. God was deliberate in bringing them to that point. And so when they asked Joshua, why is it that we have come to this Jordan? We figure if you're going to cross, the water's going to be knee deep. Joshua said that you may know that the Lord thy God is with you. God is going to do something today that your parents saw in the Red Sea and your grandparents, that you may know that God is with you, and that you may know that he's gone over before you. You're going to bring down Jericho. You're going to bring down the city of Ai. You're going to possess the land. And sometimes God will bring you to Jordan and he said you're going to cross it and it looks impossible. But God is looking for faith. He wants you to look past the water and begin to say, God, I am ready. And take a step out and watch and see. But the Bible tells us that when the priests put their feet in the water, that it rolled up both sides. And 3.5 million people walk through the Jordan because God saw faith. God is looking for faith. Maybe if you will allow your faith to come back or your faith to grow, you will cross your Jordan. You will climb your Mount Sinai. You will walk through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil. God says, I'm going to speak. At the end I will speak. He says, because my promise is panting to come towards you. And then he says to Habakkuk, though it tarries, wait for it. Because it will surely come. It will not tarry. He's saying, though it tarries, because he's speaking to Habakkuk on his level. It looks like it's late. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, or it is not tarrying, because it has an appointed time to come. The Webster Dictionary defines tarry as, though it seems to be delayed or late or lingering, wait for it. In the Hebrew text, the phrase though it tarries literally says, though it looks like it is taking long, wait for it, because it is not late. Though it looks like it 20 years, though it looks like it 6 months, though it looks like it 5 years in marriage, though it looks like it is taking long, wait for it, because it is not late. It is coming on time. It is coming on time. So when we are going through, we must always maintain a strong recollection that what we are waiting for is coming from God and it will never be late. In other words, since God is totally responsible for taking care of us and giving us what we need, what we are waiting on will not be held up because it has a specific time to come. Wait for it. It is coming. Wait for it. It will not be late. And then the Lord concluded in verse 4. And he said to Habakkuk, the just shall live by his faith. The redeemed, the born again Christian must live by his or her faith. So by now, the vision is plain to Habakkuk. He can understand why things are the way in Judah and why God hasn't done anything yet. And that is the same position that you should have come to in my preaching. I understand that even though this test is hard and it's painful, it is God's will for my life. You know, one of the things I look at with the prophet Jeremiah is that God came to him as a young man and said, I want you to be a prophet. And Jeremiah said, no, I don't want to look like a fool. I don't know anything about prophesying. Leave that to the older people, that kind of stuff. And God said, Jeremiah, if you think you're going to look like a fool, you will really become a fool if you don't do what I tell you. And Jeremiah answered the call. And one would think that life would be a better road And then Jeremiah find himself thrown into a nasty, miry well,
Yes.
sinking in that mud,
Yes.
with nothing to eat or drink,
Yes.
left to die. And he was in the perfect will of God. He was in the perfect will of God. And that is what we don't understand.
Yes.
That being in the perfect will of God is not always a bed of roses.
Amen.
Sometimes being in the perfect will of God is a place of pain, but you can have joy in pain if you have faith. Sometimes you can eat the bread of affliction and drink the water of affliction, and it tastes like you have a cheeseburger and some fries, and a soda. But it is how you see things. It is faith. It is understanding who God is, and that everything is going to work together for good. And so you must understand today that whatever affliction there is in your body, whatever test and trial that you are going through, it has an end date. The promise, the answer is panting, is running to come to you because God is in control. He's in charge. When Habakkuk saw the clarity of the vision that he wrote down for me and you, he realized that he was worried about nothing. In chapter 3, verse 16 to 19, he says, I will wait patiently for the day to come. I will wait patiently for the day to come.
Amen.
Somebody that is going through needs to say that right now. I will wait patiently for the day to come. Be anxious for nothing. I will wait patiently